Welcome to the Grand Shorts, a part of the Grand Podcast. The Grand. My name is Niels Tudor Winter, and I'm the creator, editor, and host of The Grand. The Grand is an independent podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. This episode is part of my shorts format. It is episode number 10 in my communication shorts series. Casper Larsen is an old contact from Brussels. He is a journalist and has been working on a generic communication approach and strategy outline for organizations. We decided to build a podcast series rolling out this strategy in short and concise episodes with concrete examples. With this, I also want to get closer to you, dear listener. We want to get your feedback and for you to share your experience and insights on the topics we discuss because it adds depth and reflection to the benefit for all. So, what will we do? Well, I have ordered 10 mugs with the Grand logo and one of them already went to Brussels, as some of you might have seen. You can also win that mug. Now we're almost done with the communication short series, so there's only 2 chances left, this month and next month. So how do you win it? Every month we choose the best comment or question posted on LinkedIn to win that exclusive The Grand mug. You can't buy it, you can only win it. And even better, by the end of the series we want to make a listener panel where all winners of the mug will be invited for the podcast recording where we discuss and exchange on communication strategies within EU R&D funding. In this 4th batch of episodes, we will have 3 episodes zooming in on the theme on getting attention on social platforms. We have 10 bullets we'll run through during these 3 episodes. Here in the 2nd episode, we have a look at the importance of using engaging hooks, how to keep things concise, how to use visuals, and then we dig into how to get to know your audience, moving into how timing is crucial, and finally the use of hashtags. On the episode side, you'll find our script so you can follow our discussion as you listen. You find the link in the episode notes where you listen to your podcast. Please enjoy. The Grand. Welcome to The Grand, the EU funding podcast. You are listening to the 4th batch of communication strategy tips and input, how to deal with the communication in relation to EU R&D funding. And we've just kicked off. You just finished listening to the first short episode on how to deal with social media and this. And now this is the 2nd one. And Casper, welcome.
Thank you, Niels.
If you want to hear Casper present himself, you have to go back to the first episode of this batch.
Oh, callback. I love it already.
Exactly.
Now they have to do that, right?
Yeah.
And they might as well listen to the full episode.
Who is this Casper?
Who is this weird dude?
No. Casper, 2nd round, what are we going to talk about?
We're going to talk about how you might consider using, no, you might not consider, how you have to use engaging and concise, tangible, if you will, language.
We're going to
on social platforms. Yeah. And I mean, basically, this is like the social platforms. Most of them don't provide the opportunity to create a headline, as you would have with an article or a video, for that matter. So your first few sentences are especially crucial, because once again, this is the social platform game is an attention game. It's all about attention, and if you get the attention, then use it wisely. So in order to get the attention, use a very concise hook. Use a engaging hook that might be somehow like a statement, a bold statement, a question, a statistic, a number, a high number. For instance, I've written an example down that I think might work. I mean, or that along the lines of what you see a lot.
Mm.
Did you know that over 70% of marine life is affected by plastic waste? Our latest study uncovers alarming trends. This does not only create urgency in the sense that this is obviously a big problem, and the fact that it's a new study, and the fact that it speeds into very current affairs, that thing that everybody can relate to nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It uses words like alarming, so now you have to read it because it's alarming. Why?
Yeah.
I would be ashamed of myself if I didn't update myself when somebody says something is alarming. Why do I not actually read that? Because I need to know what it is that is alarming, and how can I live with myself if I don't know what the alarming thing is?
I'm gonna be
This
an
is to
ignorant
put it.
bastard if I don't
This is to put it
read
in
this.
a little bit of square form. But that is how this mechanism works. And this is not super different from other platforms of communication at all, but it still drags people in.
You know what? It's equal to the headline of tabloids, yeah, basically.
Clickbait.
Buy this new paper.
I mean,
yeah. So you would, like big, like something engaging where people, I need to read this without the blood, violence, and sex. I don't know how you engage on social media, but yeah, if we're talking LinkedIn, which most of our, if you're dealing with R&D funding, it's no violence.
And of course, this specific researcher is lucky that he's dealing with cute animals.
Yeah.
Marine life, I'm referring to here. Marine life, what is that in the head of the average academic? That is a dolphin caught in some sort of net being strangled by a plastic bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Cute animals suffering. I mean, how are you not reading this book?
My lifelong study of how seal puppies, they get strangled in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Furry, yeah. And the thing is, what happens here, and most communication people that listens to this will know this, that you have on LinkedIn, you see the first two lines, and then you have the dots, and then you have to press see more, whatever.
Yeah.
Of those two lines, that's your window for engagement.
Indeed.
Yeah. If you don't have, depending on if you post a photo, if you post a front page of a report, if you whatever, it depends. So the first two, that place up there, it is so vital for getting people to seeing and opening up. What is this? Curiosity.
Like you say when you're applying for jobs, in your cover letter, you get 30 seconds of the recruiter's attention. I mean, on LinkedIn or any other, you get maybe 5. You get the time it takes to read 2 sentences.
That's not 5.
Because
I think it's shorter.
They move on because they are so overloaded with content. They're so overloaded with things they need to scroll through before their toilet visit is over. So,
well, it's funny because it's true.
Yeah. I mean, seriously do a poll and find out how many people actually check social media when they're visiting the toilet.
Yeah, and you know what? Because for me, it took me a while. I've read into this. I read about the LinkedIn, how to use it. Because I was just using it totally randomly before I started this podcast service. So I had to dig into this, of course, because that's the medium I'm using. So I understood that I had to enlighten myself. What is this? The theory, the way to do things. And then you start in the beginning. You are stumbling. It's like a baby. You start to walk. You get better and better at it. But I think I'm not a communication person. I don't have a natural talent, so I need to I need to take color from what I see other people's nice posts. I need to try to calibrate and then mix it with my own message, my own tone of voice, as they call it in this social media. You have your tone of voice, your own, so people can almost hear you in the head when they read it. That's good for me because I'm a podcast, so people know my voice, and so so I think that's probably good advice, no? To see how do other people use those, because I did. How do other people use that space? Yeah. I'm making a headline in bold. I'm using a tool, a web-based tool to make it bold, because they have this limitation in LinkedIn that you cannot do bolds and italics and so on.
I've noticed, yeah. But there are tools online, like you say. Yeah.
And then I always have that it's so I have the bold title, headline, and then it should be captivating. I try to make it captivating, or curiosity, and then the next line is that it's the podcast, the next episode. So people, okay, that's the curiosity, and then we recognize this. That's the grand coming. So it's. But I could do it different ways. I know.
You can also consider doing like sometimes because when people speak, they usually are more concise than you would write something. Like if we're talking about research, for instance, a researcher should like telling you in the podcast about his research, like just like that, for instance, speaks in a human tone of voice. He writes in a researcher's tone of voice. So you could do like pull out a quote from it to put in your LinkedIn post. That's the quote that sort of like encapsulates the whole the essence of the episode.
But that's somehow. My combination of that and then the sound snip video I made. Yeah, so there I have a full quote.
Exactly.
Between 30 seconds and a minute, where it's captioned.
Yeah.
So because people don't turn on the sound.
Yeah. But if you don't have the technical tools available to do that, a written quote could taken from the could work as well. Yeah.
But concise, yeah. Anything else in relations to that?
So that brings us into the concise. I mean, we already went there, but be concise means like it's. I mean, we have more about this in a previous episode, the more general episode about strategy. But
this is an art.
Like this needs to be recognizable in the first sentence. It needs to be captivating, like we said, but it also needs to be in a simple language, in a almost spoken language, in a very relatable language. Like, don't use academic terms, because even though your audience are academics, they're also people. Don't use long sentences, long like with breaks and everything. Just like simple, actionable sentences in present tense, preferably, not in passive form, active form, preferably. Our study reveals a breakthrough in renewable energy storage. Learn more, and we'll get back to the engagement later. But
yeah,
so that would be breakthrough is a great word, like we talked about before. Reveals, creates urgency. Renewable energy, a topic on everybody's mind. Storage, okay, that's one method within that, etc.
Yeah. Again, this is something where you say you again. This is actually putting the finger into the curiosity. These words, right? So, what's that they are revealing, or what's that breakthrough? Oh, there's more. Maybe they discover.
Exactly. You're teasing as well, because you're not revealing. You're not revealing. You're just saying you have something that reveals.
You know what I try to do, or what I do? I put key takeaways. So not only have the sound snip, which is something specific, but I put 3 or 4 key takeaways from the episode in very concise, colloquial language. It's non-academic. Trust your project officer. Point 2: don't mess up your project report. It's in that kind of be focused on reaching out to your partners. It's vital for these kind of things.
And then it's important when you do actually write the call to action, like in order to get the conversion, like get people to listen, then you don't write. I mean, so you have the key points, key takeaways, and then you write, listen to the podcast here. Then you actually write, listen to all the points.
Yeah, so that's a mistake.
So you actually, in that sense, indirectly states that there's something I left out here. And you won't get the full picture until you actually listen.
It's a good point. Thanks.
Yeah, no, but I mean, these are things that are super hard to remember. Small little tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
And I don't remember it all the time either, but it works. I mean, yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, and I think the next point here is you already mentioned your little sound clip at where to which you create a video with captions, right? And visuals is the next point here. So that's again, like, and I say again because this is it's again a continuing theme throughout the series here. Images, infographics, videos, or just a small video with captions from sound are obviously so like the introduction sentence we mentioned before with the like sort of linguistic hook. This is what you do with an image here. Like you get actually people's eyes to stop scrolling, right? That's the whole point here again. So eye catching is the key here. And the earlier you can communicate that there's something to gain, achieve, get information to get somehow, the higher the chance of people stop scrolling. So once again, if you can even in the first frame of the video both say what this is about and what is there to learn or gain from this, the better. Because they don't stop and watch a 5-minute video. They stop and watch a 30-second video.
Yeah, but we all know them. Yeah.
We all know them. We've seen them. Everybody's seen this.
My dear listener, you've seen them, and you know who's good in your contact network. Because you have these natural talents for these things, and that's not just a matter of being able to look supernatural that's also a matter of remembering what they have to say and say it naturally because they made a script. They have speaking cards. They do not remember everything they say like this. Few people can do that. Trained media persons can, but so we know them. But if you're not that, I'm myself playing with starting making like promoting videos where I record myself promoting next week's episode, for instance. It's super difficult. But if you get it right, it's something that people notice.
And you don't necessarily have to have a person in a video, but it could also be a graphic video. But a face is always a great way to create attention. Or colors. If you don't have a great face, then use colors. Or color the face. I don't know.
No, but it's actually the algorithms of most social media that's ready to a face. Yeah. If you put your face on it, that's actually one of the reasons why my promotional video clips, the graphical videos, on the first page I have the photo of my guest and I have a photo of myself. So that's what it starts. What LinkedIn sees. So say when I upload that, the first thing it sees, that's 2 photographs of 2
Yeah,
persons.
exactly.
I thought about this, people.
And if you have a picture of a microscope, you might not get the same. The algorithm might not prioritize you as much. That's just hard facts. We're not in control of this. There are the two of us here. Those are the mean people in Silicon Valley.
Exactly. And then we also all know that's where I haven't reached that level. That's the video part. It's the graphic videos I make. I'm totally in control of that. But so actual in person videos where you mix it with visual that jumps in and out or underline your message with, and you're like, we all know them. When the persons that are super cool doing these things, but they probably have a communication background or they have an organization behind them often.
Yeah.
That does these kind of things.
But if you are in an organization that have access to, say, a stock photo archive or something, usually these places like Shutterstock or the likes, they might have videos as well, and with models actually posing just like they do in the photos.
Okay.
They might not they might not like mouth the actual words that you want them to say. You would have to use artificial intelligence for that. I think that's for a different episode. But they will still be a face that the algorithm recognizes straight away, and it might just be a way to put a face on your post or your story. I mean, of course, you have to pay these. They have people actually producing these things that need salaries. So you usually need to pay for these things. But if that could be an option. If you don't have this content, it's better to just find a video that you caption with some text graphically, and then and with a random objective, really. If it's about if your post is about let's say the youth, young people doing worse at school, or just the school system doing worse, or what do you know, find the people. How about, like, you might find a 8 or 10 or 15-second video in a stock archive of kids skateboarding or whatever, just something.
Yeah, you also have more and more free bases out there, free photo.
True.
And then, but you mentioned it, and that's this might be generating another batch of of episodes. Artificial intelligence, the chatbots.
Yeah.
We haven't even touched them, but actually they're getting more and more important in generating your social media posts and supporting with both photos, graphics, and yeah. But I think we're not going to talk about that now, because that's a whole.
That's and I think we need to. I mean, that would be a topic that would even require well, not more preparation necessarily, but at least a little bit of thinking about how we do that, because nobody really knows too much about it yet, to be honest. Like, nobody, even people who work with it on an everyday basis, they don't know a lot about it yet still. So,
but I think we all, at least on LinkedIn, you get it. It's more and more obvious when people use the picture generator to do things, and sometimes so you have the especially the one that are drawings. You can actually very well depict. You have the archetype of generated. We can all recognize that now, but you actually have more refined AI machines that can actually look like something that looks like a perfect photograph.
You can. And I also have to say, before we start going into, I mean, still lawmakers have not decided yet what to do about the whole issue of rights, and right copyrights and trademarks and all this, because so in generative AI, you like your platform would go to on the internet and use all pictures of whatever you ask it to create, and then reassemble that. And so, who owns the rights for that?
We're past that. Nobody's gonna come after people for generating
Let's see what happens.
It's way past. Don't be afraid out there.
No, well, you shouldn't be afraid right now. No, because I'm just saying, at some point there might be some legislation that addresses this.
No, time sliding. Sorry for opening up this box, because that's a lot to talk about. No. Yeah, so we need the last batch. Are we finished? We finished with the visuals.
I think the point is made. It's pretty clear. I think now another very key thing that relates back to what I started out in the previous episode by saying, for those who didn't listen to that, I held a long speech about how one should use social platforms as tools rather than actual media or communication products itself. Use it as a platform or a tool to get people to do something else. Listen to the podcast, read your article, go to the web shop and buy whatever it is you're selling, etc. This last bit is called engagement. It's important to encourage engagement and have calls to action in your social platform post.
Because that's what you need for them to click on your stuff. That's what you need to get to activate people and say, oh, this is that's what drives SoMe.
This is the whole conversion summed into one little thing. Sometimes it's just learn more. A call to action might just be learn more, or sometimes it's like a post with a poll and how do you see this topic, followed by the way, listen to our podcast on this topic here, and because you already engaged them and piqued their interest. So the whole idea here is to lead people away from the social platform, to be honest, and to your website or to Apple's podcast feed or whatever it might be. You might even lead them to a place where they once again have to be converted. So let's say you want them to sign up for your newsletter. You bring them to a sign up page on your website, for instance, and then you still need to at that there create a sign up page that actually makes them fill in their information. But that's probably for a different episode. But this is the first step, is to get them there. So there's like sort of 2 points here. Like one is the conversion, but you can also sort of isolate the point of like fostering community feeling in, which is like, and here the social aspect of a social platform comes in, because if you can get people to comment and debate the same topic, your topic, in with like under your post, for instance, that not only engages people with your topic, it also make them aware of each other and the fact that there is like an area of interest here, and that in some terminology you could call a community. And part of this is therefore for you to actually keep up with this and participate in the debate, be friendly, like we talked about before, praise, hey, thanks for your very interesting comments, obviously creates new perspective that I will take into consideration, blah 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 blah, etc.
And it's also very simple algorithm facts. That is, as soon as you get people are commenting on your post, it gets more reach. The more comments you get, the more reach you get.
And goes back again to the like the language and how you actually, because you can't just get people to comment by saying by writing something concise and captivating, then actually say, what is your experience with this?
Mm-hmm.
Leave a comment or whatever. And it's true, like you say, like anything that engages with your social platform posts basically increases your reach, because it's going to move you up the ladder of it.
I find this super difficult, and I never put "what do you think" or something like this in my LinkedIn post, because I think it's artificial. When I see someone putting that in their post, what do you, when it's not, if you have something that is totally engaging the content, then you don't need to write "what do you think." Do you get my point?
Mm.
There's an element of artificiality that it doesn't make me write a comment because someone is writing, "What's your opinion about this?"
This is one of the this is one of the reasons I'm also saying this about like moving people away from the platform. I think the whole comment and debating part is difficult to move away, and probably it stays better there because you don't want necessarily dirt on your website. But
depends what you lead them to.
If you want people to debate a topic inside your front lawn, that's like getting them into a debate section of your website. If you want them to debate something on the street, you leave it on social media. But you have a point, and it is very, I would say, it is very, it's very clear to me at least that 90% of these kind of like calls to actions that basically encourages people to debate seem very superficial. All I can say is that they work. So I think the morality in this is up to one. So this is how the IT companies decided to design these platforms, because it also increases their traffic, and when they have increased traffic, they earn more money. Everybody is a tool. Your choice is: do you use it? Do you use this as a tool or not? It's available to you. It's easy, fairly easy. It's there. It's for mostly it's free. I mean, you pay with your data, of course, but like you don't have to cough up any coins or bills. But it's there if you want to use it. It's my point, I think.
So there you have it out there. Try to sneak in a question or one way or the other, delicate or refined or whatever, but it's good for your reach, because that's what the big guys in Silicon Valley, they like. So that's also a small lesson for me. Now we are almost 35 minutes in, so we have to shut this episode down to call it a short one.
This is good content. They'll listen. No way.
Exactly. Yeah. Of calling in the discourse. Dear listeners, we'll be right back. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of The Grant. Want to win the mug? Well, find this post in my personal LinkedIn profile or the Grant LinkedIn site. Share your thoughts and throw a question or give us a comment. Or give us some feedback. All the Grant episodes have their own site on the Grant website. You'll find the link in the episode site where you listen to your podcast. On the site for this episode, you'll find a link to Casper's personal LinkedIn site and his communication company. Further, there will be links to the communication series main page. And finally, you'll find the script that we have used so you can follow the examples and the structure of the strategy. Next up is the third episode, where we have a look at how to monitor and respond to what you throw out there. And finally, of course, analyze your performance. Very, very important. Look forward to that. The Grant.